Okay, so today in this session we are going to discuss about one of the well-known storage service called FSS. Okay, file system storage service. We have different types of storage services in Oracle Cloud infrastructure like block storage, object storage, archive storage, and FSS. Each storage service has its own purpose, right? Uh, I cannot use block storage in all the use cases. I cannot use object storage in all the cases. So each has its own purpose, right? So take for example, your performance is the highest priority. You are going to store your Oracle database files. In that case, I would recommend you to use the block storage. On the other hand, I'm going to use the storage for uh, keeping my application binaries, and also I'm going to share my binaries between compute instances. If you are Oracle application DBA, you know we have a concept called shared Appletop. So that means your same application binaries you are going to share between the compute instances. So in that case, yes, you have to go for FSS. I want to store my ARM and backup pieces. Then it is not required to use block storage. Instead, you can go for object storage. I'm going to save my historical data somewhere, last 7 years of data, 10 years of data, 50 years of data, then you can go for archive storage. So each and every storage service has its own purpose. Okay. So in this lesson, we are going to talk about the basic concept of FSS. What is FSS? How to use FSS? How to mount FSS? And what is the backup strategy for FSS? And how you can restore in case the recovery is needed. Okay. So FSS, you can assume it as NFS server. Okay, and it has already contains ready-made file system. Uh, so you just need to create the file system, and just you can start using it. What I'm trying to say, your file system is already available. You need not do anything more to use the file system. For example, if you are going to use the block storage, you have to you will get the raw disk, and then you have to format it. Only then you can use it. But in case of FSS, it is readily available. Okay, so you can assume this one as a NFS server, which you can mount in n number of compute instances. Okay. So to understand the FSS, you should be aware of certain theoretical concepts. Only then you can use it, you can use them practically. Okay. So first thing what you need to know, we have a concept called mount target. So mount target, you are going to create it under AD, availability domain. I hope you already know what is AD, what is region, and fault domain and all those stuffs. If you don't know, you can definitely update it in the comments section so that we can discuss about that, which is very fundamental. You should know, otherwise it's very difficult to understand. Okay. So mount target, you are going to create it under availability domain. Though you are going to create a mount target in a single availability domain, you can connect from compute instance of any availability domain. That doesn't mean that you are creating the mount target in AD1 and you can use this mount target only for the compute instances which are available in AD1. No, you can mount this file system on top of the compute instances which are created under AD2 as well. Only thing is you should open the firewall using seclist, NSG or whatever way you, again I am telling you, in case if you don't know what is seclist, ingress rule, egress rule, definitely you should know. Otherwise these are all fundamental. Without knowing all these things, it is very difficult to cope up with all this, any services in OCI. So if you don't know, please comment. In fact, I thought of taking block storage. I thought of starting from block storage, but one of the comments I could see that someone asked me to handle file storage service. So that's the reason I thought of covering it first. Okay. Now, so mount target, as I told you, it is like a NFS server which has, where you can create n number of file system. Each mount target, you can create maximum 100 file system, at least till last month. Maybe I don't know whether they had removed this restriction now, that you have to check. Okay, but 100 itself, it is more than enough. It is very much sufficient. And each AD, each availability domain, you can create 2 mount target. Each mount target, you can create 100 file system. Okay. So first, to start using the FSS, first you have to create the mount target. It is like a NFS server where you can create a number of file systems. Then under mount target, you have to create file system. Under mount target, you are going to create a file system. Let us say you are going to create a file system called file system 1, FS1, and you can create another file system called FS2. As I told you, you can create n number of file system. Then each file system you can refer using some name. So FS1, I am referring using one name called file system 1. FS2, I am referring one name called file system 2. This is any name. I can give my own name, right? So it is nothing but this is just alias name. You are just referring this file system using this name. So this name they call it as FSS path or export path. Export path. So what is the export path for FS1? File system 1. It can be XYZ. What is the export path for file system FS2? File system 2. So when I am going to refer this file system FS1, I am going to refer using the export path, not using the file system name. And each file system can be referred by more than one export path. For example, same file system FS1 can be referred by XYZ as well as ABC. This is also export path for FS1. So in this case, the file system FS1 referred by export path XYZ. The file system FS1, it is referred by another export path ABC. In the same way, the file system FS2, it is referred by the export path called file system 2. Like that, but this each export path can refer only one file system. What I am trying to say, this export path XYZ, it is already referring FS1, so you cannot refer FS2 using the same file system, which is wrong. So what we understood, each file system can be referred by more than one export path, but each export path should refer only one file system. Okay, maybe you can ask me, what is the necessity of having more than one export path? This is as per the theory. Suppose you want to mount certain file system in one compute instance using some different privilege, in another compute instance using some different privilege, then you can use one option called export option, or they will call it as FSS security. Okay, but so far I have never used this. I never came across any production instances where we used more than one export, more than one export path for a single file system. Okay, but you should be aware of. So what we understood so far, you can create a mount target in availability domain. Each availability domain maximum you can create 2 mount target. Each mount target, so you have, in most of the region you have 3 availability domain. So maximum you can create 6 mount target. Each mount target you can create a file system. As I told you, till last month the restriction was 100, and each file system can be referred by more than one export path, but each export path should be associated with only one file system. So once you create all these things, how you are going to mount it? The syntax is, of course, your traditional mount command and your mount target colon your export path name, then the mount directory where you want to mount. So for example, mount target, my mount, export path, my export, I want to mount it as D01. Understood? So of course you don't want to lose this mount target, mount point. Whenever you reboot your server, if it is Linux, you have to add it in etcfs tab. Okay. So this is the theoretical concept of file system storage, FSS. Now let us see how you can create how you can create a mount target file system using the console. So any administration work in OCI, you can do it through console or you can do it through CLI command. Okay. So I am using console. In case if you want me to cover CLI command, we can talk about that in separate session. Now let me see. Okay. So you should have, of course, you should have console access, and once you log into the console, you will see the sandwich menu like this, and you have n number of options. So you have to choose storage because you are going to work on storage service, one of the storage service FSS. So we have n number of storage service: block storage, file storage, object storage, archive storage. So I am going to click this file storage. Under file storage we have file system and mount target. So as I told you, first we are going to create a mount target. Here mount target name I am going to give tmount. You are going to create it under which availability domain. So I told you your mount target is associated with your availability domain. Then VCN, under which subnet. I would say you create a dedicated subnet for your mount target. Don't create the mount target under the subnet of compute instance, because you are going to apply some different sec lists to connect to your mount target IP. So I would say you create a separate subnet. As I told you, if you don't know subnet, VCN peering and all those stuffs, let us discuss in a separate session. You can give your, let me know in the comment section. So mount target, I am going to use the name tmount. As soon as you create the mount target, you will get one private IP. I'm going to create it in private subnet. So you will get one private IP. Okay, and one thing so one thing, here it is not mount target name, this is IP address. You have to connect to the MIME, you have to refer this is IP, mount target IP. Okay. Then you have created the mount target. Then file system. File system name, I am giving test file system, again availability domain, which compartment and all those stuffs. And all your data is by default encrypted. You need not worry about security if you are going to use FSS. All are encrypted. And when you are deleting the file, the corresponding encryption key also will get deleted. So, so you need not worry about security. OCI is very much taking care of the encryption part. So I am creating the file system. Once you fill up these details, then you have to give the export information. That means I am going to refer this file system called T file system, using which export path? U01 file system export path. So this is, you can give your own name. Okay. So U01 file system. And as I told you, if you want to mount using some different option, use secure export options. Practically I have never used, so I don't want to discuss about this. So what you understood, the file system is T file system, the export path is U01 file system. mount target information. I am going to create the file system under which mount target? The one which I created already, T mount. Otherwise, if you don't have any pre-existing mount target, here also you can create it, create using new mount target. Okay. So once you done, you will get, yes, your file system is active. Okay. So what is a file system? That is T file system, but export path U01 file system. So file system is ready, and that file system is referred by export path U01 file system. What I have to do? I have to mount it. I have to mount it. So just click this 3 dot here, you will get this option. View details, copy OCID, mount command, delete. Click this mount commands, you will get one message like that. That means to connect to this IP, you should open, minimum you should open all this all this port. You should define ingress rule for TCP port 111 2048 2049 2050 and UDP port 111 2048. So all this ingress and egress rule, you have to define the subnet of your mount target. That is the reason I am telling you, it is advisable, it is recommended to create a dedicated subnet for your mount target. Don't place your compute instance, the subnet of mount target, because you are going to have a separate dedicated sec list. Let us handle it separately, nothing wrong, but easy to handle, easy to group it, right? So again, ingress, egress and all, I am assuming you are aware of all these things. Okay. Now, once you click this mount command, you will get, it will give you, sudo yum install, sudo mkdir and all these things. These are all the commands. So basically, if you are using Oracle Linux, this yum is already there, so it is not required. If it is not there, you have to install the operating system where you are going to mount, which is not having NFS utils. You have to install using yum install command, very traditional command, and create. I am going to mount it using the using the directory called U01. So create one directory, then sudo mount the IP what we had, this is a mount IP of mount target. What is a export path name? Colon U01 file system. This is a export path name. Understand that I am not referring the file system name. I am referring U01 file system. Okay. Then I am mounting it U01. Okay. So this is how you have to mount it. Once you mount, if you give df-h or k, whatever it is, you will get it like this. See, your mount IP export path. So if you see like this, that means it is FSS. Easily you can identify if it is IP, mount IP / export path, 50 terabyte total storage, but I am using only 3.1 terabyte. I mounted it under U01. So the beauty of FSS is customer need not pay for complete storage. Though it allocated 50 terabyte, customer is going to pay for what he is currently using, 3.1 terabyte. So that is the reason you should not simply dump your backup files and everything in FSS, because customer has to pay for it. At the end of the year, customer will say, man, my binaries, application binaries are only 200 GB, but how come I have to pay, I am using 3 terabyte. Maybe you are pushing all your backup files in the FSS, which is wrong. Customer has to pay. So you should have proper purge mechanism to take care of to clearing those files from FSS. The difference between block storage and FSS in terms of price, if it is a block storage, customer has to pay for 50 terabyte, though they are using 3 terabyte, but it is attached to your compute instance. But here it is not the case. Today he is paying 3 terabyte. Tomorrow if customer is going to use only 1 terabyte, he has to pay for only 1 terabyte. So you are going to pay for what you are going to use. Okay. So this is all about how to create the file mount target, how to create the file system, what is export path, export option and all those stuff. So how I'm going to create the backup? What is the backup policy? So once you create FSS, once you mount under U01, you will find one under U01. You can find. See, I mounted in U01. So under U01, I can find one hidden folder called snapshot. So go to this U01 snapshot. To create a backup, just create mkdir, give any name, test backup, T backup. Let us say I have U01 Apple. Here I have, Apple. 1213 folder. Then as soon as you create this T backup, you can find cd u01 dot snapshot. These folders will come automatically, 1213. Okay. So this is how you have to create a backup. It's a very lightweight backup. It is like incremental backup in database and all. So it just take 1 second to create. Okay. And in case of recovery, let me tell you, you are applying a patch. After that, you could not bring up the services. So you want to, bring back this 1213. So what you have to do? So what you have to do? You are going to actual folder. Your actual folder is U01 Apple. I know my patch corrupted this folder, so mv 1213 dot underscore original, then cp hyphen r. I can copy this entire folder. Here. Okay. So just basically you can copy it from the, you can copy a single file, you can copy a folder, but if it is some big files, it is better to use rsync, right? Your traditional CP will take always time, so it is better to use rsync. Okay. So you should have a rsync program, and then you can use that. And nowadays, one more concept they came up with, FSS clone, which I have not explained here, but I would advise you to explore that. So you can create the clone using Snap. So that is much faster, they are telling. Still, I have not used in any practical scenario, very frankly. Okay. rsync I have used couple of times, but for 400 GB of data, it took around 7 hours. Okay. So you cannot, if it is a production application, it is very difficult to convince the customer. It is going to be a complete outage. So FSS clone should be a game changer. So that we should explore. I would recommend you to explore. Okay. And so here I have created a snapshot using command line. In the same way, you can create a snapshot using console also. Here you will find in the file system snapshot. Just create snapshot and give the snapshot name. Same like that, once you create, in the backend it will create the directory automatically. So you can create it using console, or you can create it using command line. So that's all about FSS. And if you have any questions, or if you want more clarification, you can you can give your comments in the comment section. Thank you.